Welcome, everyone, to Talking with Tom and Jim, where we all have amazing, weird tabletop mascots.
Mine was inside my jacket.
So creepy. So creepy.
That's where you keep Rat Bear.
The guy next to me with Rat Bear is comedian and actor Daniel Dye. I'm going to pass the reins over to him in just a moment for his favorite segment. But I want to introduce our guys tonight, Tom Goldrup, Jim Goldrup. Guys, welcome to your show once again. They are actors and writers. They've written four books on the golden age of Hollywood, and they are world travelers, and they have some of the craziest stories ever, which is why Dan invented his game.
It's called Tom and Jim's Random Game of Random. Our third jingle.
Right,
It's our third jingle. Gosh. Yes, the Tom and Jim's Random Game of Random. So speaking of like crazy stories for everything, my theory, for anyone that hasn't seen all of the other ones before this, is that Tom and Jim have a story for everything, and my goal is to stump them with this game. And so, what I have them do is select a prompt. You only have a few left, but you select a prompt, and then we see if you've got a story. And if you don't, I win. So what's...
Okay. Jim says it's my turn, so I'll take number 10.
Number 10. Oh, a wonderful number. Wonderful number, full of lots of letters and stuff. Found on the road.
Found on the road.
Found on the road.
I could almost do a little picture thing here if I could run over. No, it'd be too hard to
Yes,
get.
let's get the whiteboard out.
We were driving down the dirt road in Georgia one summer, and sitting alongside the road was this old panda. It was abandoned. We felt sorry for him being abandoned. He wanted a home, so we went and picked him up, and we named him Clancy. We were doing our family history and related to the Clantons and the Kelseys, so we put the name together in Clancy. He's sitting over there right now, but he's behind a bunch of stuff. It'd be hard to get him, but he's a big old
so this is
Stuffed panda.
Yeah,
He's like Rat Bear.
Yeah, right. Yes. So we found Clancy along the road there, and he brought him home. He's still here with us. So back in the 70s or 80s, I don't know.
Do you ever wonder about the kid that lost it?
The kid went home crying after we yanked it out of his hand. But
That's right. I don't take candy from babies. I take panda bears.
Yes.
I thought you said a live panda at first. And I'm like, well, I know this is now a lie, but where's he going with this? But okay, a stuffed animal panda.
Stuffed animal panda.
I may have a point for Dan.
What?
That is if my answer fails.
Okay.
Because it wasn't found on the road, but my other brother Ray and I
I'm pretty
were driving
lenient
along,
with my...
George Peak Shore, driving along, and stopped. We stopped along the road. We walked off to this field, and there was an old cabin there. And in the cabin was this old hat.
Oh.
That's been over 50 years ago.
Oh yeah, that's been back in '63.
Okay, so I have to follow up on this, Jim.
That's found on the road or found in the cabin.
I'm very lenient with my stories.
This is right along the lines of riding the pig. Now, it's different, but same family as when you rode the pig. Okay, so your brother Ray and yourself, you're driving along the road near Big Sur.
Yeah.
And then you pulled over. Was there a reason why you just decided to pull over then? You needed a break?
No, I think we were taking pictures of things, and we liked the way the old house looked or something.
The old cabin.
There was a reason why we saw it.
It was
Okay, so, but you didn't know...
All abandoned cabin, you know.
Oh, it was abandoned. You're sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we didn't break in.
Just walks
In
in.
the 50s, Jim broke into a cabin and stole
Walk
that.
into a house and that's all. Nice hat.
I'm learning a lot about your criminal escapades.
Yeah.
You've got newspapers. Hats.
50s were a
What's
dangerous
next?
time.
Pandas out of kids' hands.
Oh man. Okay.
I'm scared to ask the next.
The key word, Jim, was abandoned cabin.
Most of the times.
I don't understand. From my point of view, it was, well, we were driving along the road, we stopped, and then we went down to this cabin, and I found this hat and grabbed it. That was from the 50s, and it was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Okay.
There's a picture in that post office of you and Ray's car. Stole hat, 1952.
I'm innocent.
I once told a policeman when I was in the backseat of his car, he said, "You look familiar." And I said, "Yeah, you probably saw my picture on a post office wall." But that's another story.
What?
That is another story.
We were together.
Yeah, we were together.
We were both in the back of the police car, but that's another story.
I don't care if it has anything to do with this or not. Now, wait a minute. What?
We have to have time to go through the last two questions.
Oh, come on. Dan, make your other question. Tom, when were you in a police car and told him, I bet you my picture on the post office wall? No, you can't just leave with that.
Maybe one of these other questions will bring it up.
See if one of the questions bring it up.
We're going to go with 8. It's the closest I've got. I'm pointing at... Okay, now tell your story.
I'm pointing at. Okay, we were sitting in the back seat of a police car on our way to the jailhouse, and the cop looked around. He pointed at me, and he said, "You look familiar." And I said, "Yeah, you probably saw me on the walls of a post office wall." We were both arrested for a warrant for our arrest for a jaywalking warrant, and we were walking. We were walking from where we stayed out in North Hollywood to the post office, and we happened to be walking down the road, the street that Bob Hope lives on and all that, and Forrest Tucker riding along in a little golf cart. So the cop said that we didn't look like we fit into that area. We
looked suspicious.
We looked suspicious. So
they had long hair.
They did a checkup on us, and they said, "Oh, I never did anything like this before. Arrest 2 brothers at one time." It was a warrant for a jaywalking thing. And so they put us in the back of the car and took us off to the jailhouse. I had the money to pay my bail, but I didn't have money for Jim, and he didn't have it. So I had to call my dad, and he wired down the money, and we got Jim out. And
while I was waiting to get out, some guy comes in to clean out the jail cell with some liquid. He tells the cop, he said, "You better move the guy out of the cell while I clean it because it's harmful to breathe." The cop says, "It'll do him good."
That was back in the days if you had your hair a little long.
And the LA
cops. You were in LA cops. Yeah, that's back in those days.
Yeah, if you had long hair, you're asking.
Wow.
So wait, you had a warrant for jaywalking,
which isn't even a real crime.
What the jaywalking thing was, we were on Hollywood Boulevard trying to get to an agent's house, and this is before we had moved, or a casting director's place. This is before we had actually moved to Hollywood, and the light turned red as we were halfway across the street, and a block down, a cop pulled us over and said you were jaywalking. And we said, "Hey, okay, we don't live here. How do we pay it?" And he said, "Well, you'll get a thing in the mail and you send it in." We never got a thing in the mail, so we never sent it in. And 6, 7, 8 months later, we were living in LA, and that happened.
Wow.
I've never, ever in my life heard of someone having a warrant for their arrest for jaywalking.
It's almost like a gag, right? Like, yeah.
They dropped the original, when we went to court, they dropped the original charge, but they still charged us for the warrant. So we got charged $60.
Wow.
So they dropped the crime. Okay, there you go.
Makes sense, right?
Makes sense. Okay, I'm guessing, this is a wild guess here, but I'm guessing we're going with number 6.
I think we shall.
Number 6, which is... Oh, purple isn't real. We've had Kokomo isn't real, and now purple isn't real. But I haven't... Yeah.
The purple isn't real. The thing I can think of is, would you really believe that there's such thing as a purple people eater? Red-eyed purple people
One-eyed
eater?
one-horn?
One-eyed one-horn purple people eater.
Absolutely, I believe it.
That was a fictitious idea of the singer Shub Woolley, who sang the song. one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eater. So purple isn't real because there's no real such thing as a purple people eater. Red, one-eyed, one-horn, red, or whatever, purple people eater.
Now, did you know him? You're going to next say,
Cheb Woolley?
Yeah.
No, we didn't. Although he did a bunch of movies. He was one of the 4 bad guys in High Noon that came after Gary Cooper and all that. And he ended up being a regular on Rawhide. But he went under another name when he sang some of those songs. He was Cheb Woolley, then he was Ben something. I forget what the other name was. He did kind of comical Western type, songs.
Yeah, he did the Bikini song too, didn't he?
What one?
Wait, was he the guy that ended up being the writer for the Four Seasons? No.
No,
I doubt it.
I doubt it.
No.
He went to Hollywood to become a singing cowboy. And he said that the singing cowboys were going out of style, so he ended up playing a lot of bad guys.
Okay.
and singing about the giant purple people eater.
Okay.
One-eyed, one.
So,
Jim.
I saw,
Isn't real.
yeah, Jim.
Now,
Yeah, story.
now you get a point.
I get a point.
Oh, God.
Purple isn't real.
This one was a mind bender for me because I saw it on a YouTube channel. YouTube, tells you everything, right? Is that if you think of a spectrum of light, red is on one end of the spectrum and blue is on the other end of the spectrum. Purple is supposedly them together, but red and blue are never together. So purple as a color actually doesn't exist. It's when red and blue are together and our minds made up the color purple.
Another time purple isn't real is the old song, Jimi Hendrix song, Purple Haze. That was the name of a LSD, Purple Haze LSD. Whatever you see on LSD isn't real.
What?
If you take a purple haze, it isn't real what you see.
So
Oh,
saying
you're right.
that
The
you
purple
can't
people eater is
walk down
real.
the yellow brick road, Tom?
I wasn't on purple haze at that time. I was on something else.